But with the defeat of Dozer, you also get Matilda, who is literally the best Cavalier in this game. Not even exaggerating. She comes with basically 10 in every stat except for defense, but more importantly, she has 10 natural resistance. This means that mages barely deal shit to her in terms of damage, so she'll be your best magic tank for the longest time, and blows Clive out of the water. So if you're smart, use her. I mean it. Back to Celica again, we reach the big battle of her route on Chapter 3. Here is Geese's fortress, and my god is this map annoying. First off, it is a desert map, which already pisses me off with how slow and tedious it is. Next, it has a ton of archers, which because they are 1-3 range, they are able to just poke at you with arrows, which thank fucking god are not effective against flyers in this game, because that would honestly make me drop this game at this fucking map. Oh, they are also wizards and such, but they aren't as bad given that most of your units have decent res. But finally, to make this a perfect shitstorm, we have infinite span of summonable enemies. I mean, truthfully, the boss, Geese, was fucking hard enough on his own. Geese himself is a Dreadfighter, the final promotion of the mercenary tree. He also has that class's base stats, which are pretty OP. Especially that 15 fucking resistance. This means that most magic attacks won't deal shit to damage to him. And with that, he also has 18 speed, which means hitting him is hard as fuck. But he is an immortal, so you can beat him, just that it is a pain in the ass because at this point you don't have an attack that would really fucking help. But when you beat him, you get to enter his fortress, Find Est, finally reuniting the 3 White Wing sisters, and this is great because they work exactly like they did in the last game. That means we get the triangle attack, which to me is the best thing you can hope to have. Also, I gave Est the angel ring because she becomes literally broken with it. Her lowest growth in this game is a 30%, and she has 50 fucking % defense, skill, and luck growth. So she's a goddamn crit machine, and with that, we'll get enough defense that nothing will damage her. Not even kidding. By late game, I had her at about 22 defense, which is more than most barons in the game have. Oh, and we also get Sonia. Yay, another mage. You get a ton on Celica's route. Though, in the last cell, there is a woman who sees Celica and tells her that she looks like Lady Leprecha, who is Celica's mother. With that, this woman recognizes Celica as Princess Antise, the true heir to Sophia. We also learn that Celica's mother was a priestess of Milla until the king of Sophia had chosen her and taken her as a wife, making her live in misery and die from sickness after Celica was born. After that, the woman gifts her with her mother's diadem, which will show that she is the Princess of Sophia. It is also with that she promotes. And something to note about that is, canonically, this makes Celica the first lord in the series to promote. Seriously, she is the first of every FP lord to promote. Ever. And that's what makes this amazing to me, is that she's a woman. Not to make a big deal of her gender, but she promotes before even Alm, who's been shown to be the most badass person in this game so far. But yeah, it's just something cool that I noticed. But going back to Alm, we have him head to the Forest Temple, where I feel like we get one of the worst battles in the game. Mostly due to the fact that gargoyles have both decent speed and defense, meaning you can barely damage them or double them, so this makes them a massive pain in the ass for me. Also, at this point, none of my mages have the angel spell, so that doesn't help, but to be honest, outside of one side quest where you save a little girl, it is not worth it even to promote someone. On Celica's side, however, there is a much more important place to go, though for that you need to face another boss, a guy named Blee? How do you pronounce this guy's fucking name? It's spelled B-L-Y? Like what? Like, Bly? Just how? Well, anyway, while this map is a basic map, repeating of the third battle of this game, this guy has a unique weapon on him. This is the Dark Sword, which is basically the Devil Axe from the last game, but with that there is one thing to note, in that this is what will make Dreadfighters even more OP. That being, Dreadfighters are immune to the Devil effect, so feel free to use these heavy-ass and powerful blades with them with no risk. Also, you may have noticed in my footage that all the way back to the desert fight, I had one on Alm. Well, skeletons dropped them, and the first skeleton I ever fought dropped one. By this point, I had 4 of them after this fight. Oh, and as a side note, I actually did this fight immediately after getting Atlas in reality, since the dungeon after it is a nice place. This dungeon is rather simple on look, though the enemies are all zombie dragons, but there's a secret with it. You see, this dungeon's fountains have the ability to revive any fallen units. Also, unlike the Elm Staff, this has 3 uses. Oh, and there are 4, maybe 5 fountains of revival in this game. That means there are at least 12 chances to revive characters. 6 on both sides. But that doesn't mean you can get careless. Once they're gone, and you lose someone with no revives, then you might as well be fucked, because how are you sucking this bad? But now we reach the end of Chapter 3 on Celica's side. Here we arrive at Mila's temple, where one of the disciples of Doma, a man named Mikhail, and his group of Doma worshippers have taken control of this place, which means there are a shit ton of mages, which means you will need a Dreadfighter to take them on. Yes, I know I have gushed on about Dreadfighters a lot, so bear with me. You see, when a unit promotes into a Dreadfighter, they automatically gain 15 resistance. They don't just go up to 15 resistance like how most stats work in promotion in this game. No, they just gain a 15 flat resistance. So that means, for example, let's take Saber, who has 6 res on default. On promotion to Dreadfighter, he has up to 21 resistance, which is just purely insane. So with that, he'll be your best bet to take down these mages. So yeah, with all my guys at this point, thanks to grinding, being Dreadfighters, and having triangle attack, this battle was a piece of cake. After you go through this battle, you go into the shrine and go downstairs to open the floodgates. Meanwhile, on Alm's end, you have one more battle. At the sluice gate, you fight Tatara, who along with him has brought Ryuto's little sister Ute. Unfortunately, she has been possessed, and comes right at you with a powerful aura spell. But you are not supposed to kill her. Rather, you're supposed to go after Tatara and kill him, breaking her of the spell that he has over her. Though again, this can be pretty hard, especially since she fucking throws herself at your party, basically begging for death. Also, doesn't help that aura takes 6 HP from her, making her hard to keep alive. Though a warp skip and a few lucky hits helped me kill Tatara to get her to come to her senses and make her retreat. When the battle is done, you go to the sluice gate and recruit Ute, who realizes she was under the control of Tatara and decides to join you. You know how I mentioned there are 3 S archetypes in this game? Well, Ute is that final S, making our total for this archetype 3 in the series. She's also really good once she is trained, if only for the fact that she is a mage and enemy resistance and Gaiden doesn't exist. Oh, and later on she learns the Ragnarok spell, which, when that happens, I will get to it. She's also a Linde, if the fact that she attacked us with aura wasn't obvious enough. But now we open the sluice gate on Alm's end, and we get to Chapter 4. The first thing you want to do in Chapter 4 is go back down to where you asked to open the floodgate of Celica. Reason for that is there's a hidden passage that, as you go through it, leads you all the way to Noma, who somehow got there. I mean it. Somehow this motherfucker ended up trapped in the flood. How the fuck did you even get here? But that is not important. What is important is we now have the very last member of Celica's party, and with that, this is another archetype character. You see, Noma is the Wendell archetype, and he is honestly the worst in the series. He has low bases, and with that has shit growth. Every stat but skill and speed has a 10% growth, with those being 15% growth. Overall, he's just a glorified healer, which you will need for the next round of bullshit. You know how I complained about the deserts restricting your movement and made you feel like you're trotting through molasses? Well, imagine that with 5 points of fucking damage. Seriously, game, what the everlasting fuck are you thinking? Do you want people to hate Celica's route? Do you want people to lose their fucking will to live? Like, okay, there's a point that I've seen a few people make, that the maps in this game are supposed to be tedious because it makes us feel how the characters are probably feeling. One thing with that, though, is that is completely fucking dumb. I mean, yes, I get that you want to put yourself in your character's shoes, but you at least gotta make it somewhat enjoyable, even if they're in a shitty situation. Here, it is fucking tedious and a bunch of bullshit. This entire part of the game on Celica's side is bullshit, honestly, but I'll get to that. Meanwhile, Alm's route isn't dumb as fuck. Alm's route just has you fight in heavily wooded areas, and while the hit rates are shaky, at least you aren't fucked by having jack shit for movement. Though, something to note is that there are two paths after the first map, one leading to the mountains, and the other leading straight to a fight with two Gold Knights. Even though the fight with the Gold Knights leads you straight onto your path, the smarter option is to honestly go through the mountains, though more on that later. First, we have a couple of hard as fuck dungeons to go through. Also, and I'm not sure I can count this, but we may have had our only item stamps in errands. By this I mean choosing between either a Holy Shield or Silver Shield. Both have their uses that I'm sure you can look up, and neither are a bad choice personally. Oh, also stuff such as a Holy Bow to help against monsters, and lastly, a Magic Shield that I have no goddamn idea what it does. And this is all on Alm's route, where the Fear Shrine is, where you have multiple battles to go through. First is already a bit of a pain, that being a part full of wizards, and one summoner that is at the end of a long hallway. Oh, and almost every map has said hallway has the damaging swap tiles. But yeah, what is interesting is that this dungeon is more than just one room and a Mila statue. You see, there are a bunch of rooms you go through fighting multiple monsters or wizards and witches. Though there are some treasures that you are definitely worth getting. For example, the Quick Ring, which raises your speed to a max of 40, and it also increases your movement a shit ton. Basically, it is the Speed Wing and Boots mixed into one, and that is fucking awesome. But that is basically it, to be honest. On Celica's route, however, there is a dungeon after the first two battles called the Lost Woods. This is the one dungeon where you actually need a guide, no joke. You see, if you end up going to explore, like most experienced RPG gamers would like to do, you end up in an endless loop of going nowhere, stuck for eternity. But luckily, I had a phone while playing my playing on my NES, was running on my computer, allowing me to look this up and play on at the same time. Yeah, that's a good cover. Anyway, there are 3 things that you want to grab in this dungeon, those being a silver lance, silver bow, and silver sword. Also an angel statue to promote whoever isn't tier 3 as well. But when you reach the end of the dungeon, you come upon the hidden Sage Village. In here, we meet 2 people of interest. One of them is a man who says a rather cryptic thing. Master Hark was a priest of Duma. However, he lost Shaman Jeddah and fled here. Judah is a vile man, and if you wish to fight him, there's only one way. On turn 4, 8, and 12. Then this villager guy fucking dies. How? Is Judah watching? If Judah or Hell or fucking Domas can do that, then why not just watch Celica's party here and now? They give no fucking reason as to why they can't do this. It's like when the fucking Guardian Ultima 9 just fucking kills that one guy. But as for the turn 4, 8, and 12 stuff, how does that in any in-game world context even work? Do they acknowledge that's an RPG? Like, this line baffles me in how every way it works. It's always bothered me and always will. But anyway, then you speak with the Sage Hark, who informs Celica that the sword that sealed Mila is in Doma's tower, but Judah will not let you get near. But Hark does offer to give you any help he can. With that, Celica asks not to help her, but rather to bless Alm. With that, Alm gets promoted, something that until you go back to him, you don't even realize he's been promoted to his new class, Hero. Now, the Hero class is different from the one that you know from FE1. Instead of being a sword lock unit, Alm has the ability to use both swords and bows, making him a better utility than he already was since, well, he will have the ability to counterattack from range. though for lesser damage. Not that he won't already kill the shit out of everything in general, but having a unit that can use 2 weapons is better, especially with the next battle on Alm's map. After I got him promoted, I made him go to fight Nui Baba at Fear Mountain. Now, when the battle starts, there's a weird bit of narration here. A ghastly face looms from the shadows. It's the terror of Fear Mountain, whom all fear, the legendary necromancer Nui Baba. If that dark spell he traded his soul for leaves his lips just once, all living beings will surely have a quick death. Oh, why do you go on this fearful mountain? What in the world could exist? This is the only narration we get in the entire game, or whatever the fuck this counts is. Who's talking? Again, it is another weird thing that Part 4 seems to like to do so far. But yeah, Nui Baba himself is a powerful threat, mostly due to his Medusa spell, which if it hits, he brings the enemy down to 1 HP. Though, I just warp-skipped Alm to him, and he, being the god he is, took Nui Baba down with ease. Now, what is up here in the mountain to grab? Well, there is a woman named Tita up here, and she seemingly looks close to Nina from the last game, only with green hair. However, she tells you that she was taken prisoner to make her lover, Zeke, do what Jerome wanted him to. This is why you go to the detour up the mountain, because you need to have Tita recruited for this next part. You see, the battle that has 2 gold knights, one of them is Zeke, who looks pretty close to Camus, but that is because he is. Turns out Camus somehow survived after everyone and ended up here in Valencia and became lovers with Tita. Speaking of that, funny enough, he is Camus, but at the same time, he is of the Lorenz archetype. Mostly by the virtue of being hard to recruit. But yeah, when you do his battles, he sees that you've saved Tita and decides to go against the other Gold Knight, Jerome. Yet it is when you reach the village after defeating Jerome that Zeke decides to join you, specifically stating that Emperor Rudolph said to join forces with a boy who would have a mark on his hand. Another thing I'll get back to on that. For now, we will check back in with Celica, who encounters the Doma priest Judah, and with that his own annoying pests known as the Biggles. You see, these bastards are a pain in the ass. They have 20 speed and they deal a crap ton of damage too. Oh, also they spawn like rabbits, doubling their numbers every turn until they fill the screen. Thankfully they are tied to Judah, who is actually invincible. Somewhat. You remember that 4th wall breaking villager? Well, he explained that every 4 turns you can damage him. And then it is possible to go open season on this asshole, which, with the triangle attack, kills him in 1 hit. Though, before you defeat him, he leaves you a dragon shield, and tells you to meet him at the top of Doma Tower. Though, before we advance onto Doma Tower, let's go back to Alm, who goes up a mountain that behind him closes on both sides, trapping him in. With that, there are also zombie dragons that constantly spawn. Luckily at this point you have a spell called Deer, which allows you to get rid of all but 1 or 2 monsters on a field per map. So that combined with anti-monster weapons allows for them to be dealt with easily. But since Alm is stuck here and we are at the end of Celica's side, it seems we shall go into Duma's Tower. This is the last place where you'll play as Celica's party till the end game, and strangely enough, instead of the 10 party members you are usually allowed to bring, instead you only bring 6. Best advice would be to have Celica, the White Wings, and Jenny, with either May or Sonia, mostly because there are a lot of monsters here that can be taken care of with ease by these guys. Once you reach the top though, you meet Judah, whom Celica begs to free Mila. Instead, he just threatens to make Alm suffer. Though how does he do it? The zombie dragons, of course. So you are forced to do a few more quick battles before Celica begs him to stop. After those battles, Judah offers an alternative, for her to sacrifice herself to Doma and become his servant. So Celica follows him down and she meets Doma. And Doma tricks you into thinking you're going to be in a battle. Instead, however, Judah says you are just in for a world of pain. This is also the end of Celica's route. Back on Alm's path, the dragons are finally lifted and we get to go to Rudolph. Though he says before his battle that to leave it to fate, and should he fall, his men should surrender. Though interestingly enough with this map, there's a quick strategy you can do, that being to warp Alm all the way to Rudolph and have him attack. See, when it is Rudolph's turn to attack in a battle against Alm, it says, "Why won't Rudolph attack?" Which is really interesting. Though what he says after is even more interesting. You've grown up well. Was it no mistake to entrusting Sir Myson? After all, you figured it out by now, right? Your full name is Albine Alm Rudolph, my only son. I have a last request. Use Falchion, the holy sword that sealed Mila. Defeat the evil god, Doma. So yeah, I guess if my hinting throughout this wasn't obvious enough, now the game outright tells you that Rudolph is Alm's birth father. Though I do love that the game from the beginning kind of reveals it, since in the opening text it says there are two children from both families who were born to change fate. So unless they were gonna out of nowhere make someone like, say, Cliff important, I see no one else who was the child hinted at. But now we know, and with that we also come to the Rudolph archetype, another new archetype. Rudolphs are usually villains who begin a conquest to gain power, though usually in preparation against the big bad that is coming, and their defeat leads into the endgame. Rudolph is the first of this, obviously, and it is actually a long-lasting archetype too. Though, now we go in and meet Myson, whom Alm has a lot of questions to ask. Myson reveals that Valencia became divided by the gods, and that Doma began to grow mad. With that, Rudolph started a war to instigate true heroes to rise. With that, he placed his newborn son, Alm, into Myson's care, knowing that Alm would answer this call. So with that, you are told again to find Falchion and slay Doma, leading into the endgame with Chapter 5. There we just go straight into the dungeon, and let me talk about the music here. Unlike last time, I've not been playing the same shit forever, mostly due to laziness, but instead, when we reach parts of the story, I've been changing up the music. That's because Gaiden's music is fucking amazing. Like, for most games, it is some of the best I've ever heard. Here, take a quick listen to each track. shortly after we enter the dungeon, the ground behind us collapses, making it clear that you cannot leave until your battle is done. One more thing is that you get notifications in every room that Celica's party is taking damage, making sure that you do not take too long to complete this dungeon, unless you want all of Celica's party to be at 1 HP when you start the fight. You also reach a room where there is a gate that Celica goes up to and talks to Alm, telling him to save them ASAP. So you go straight onto the dungeon, which is 5 floors long. Somewhat. You see, the 5th floor is a bit of a trap. There's absolutely nothing down there. No battles or any treasure even. Rather, to get through battles and like, you'll need to fall through pits. Not any ordinary pits, but specific ones, going from battle to battle till you reach a blue door. In that room it says, only regale royalty beyond this point. This leads to 3 solo battles where Alm is the only unit you can use, and against unique variations of monsters you have faced in dungeons so far. These being skeletons known as wights, followed by gargoyles known as death royals, and then lastly, white dragons. So, are dragons alive in Valencia, or were these 2 fuckers just waiting to die? Actually, that'd be strangely symbolic given the story of this game and the 2 god dragons. If that is what Kaga is going for, good job. But after that room, you finally arrive to claim the Falchion and can go straight to fighting the final boss, which I do. There we hear Celica's other reason for starting this journey, that being her having a vision of Alm in trouble and wanting to stop it. However, Alm says that he understands and just to focus on the battle, stating he will save them soon enough. That is when the battle begins and we are introduced to Doma, a monstrous beast that has pretty high stats, as well as the highest HP in the game at 182. However, up to a certain point, anything can damage him, that point being at 52 HP. At 52 HP, Doma can only be hurt by 2 things, Falchion and Nosferatu. Yeah, funny enough, Nosferatu can hurt it, which makes Saints useful if you forgot to get the Falchion. On the same map you have Judah and the Biggles, along with a bunch of tier 3 units who are a massive pain in the ass. So while killing Doma, you also want to deal with them. Judah being able to beat the same way as he was before, waiting 4, 8, 12, whatever to triangle attack him. Unfortunately, you do not get the Draco shield off him this time. Also around Doma, there will be 4 mages, each of whom I recommend you deal with as soon as possible, especially when you warp skip Alm next to Doma, like I did. Oh, and like the rest of the dungeons, if you die you'll have to restart from right outside the dungeon, which means going through all the bullshit again. But anyway, when Alm gets to the final blow, it is in my opinion, one of the most badass things in gaming. First thing he does when the battle initiates is throw his shield, jumps into the air, and strikes Doma in the eye. With that we get someone speaking to us. That's enough, Hero Alm. Inherit our will and rule this land fairly. Carry both Doma's power and Mila's love. You must never repeat these events. Never again disturb our slumber. Never repeat these events, huh? Glad nobody in Alm's bloodline ever does that again. But anyway, now on to the epilogue. Thus, the war ended. Many have died, but now Valencia sees peace. Why did this war occur? No one knows. But there is one thing to be said. If mankind again grows too arrogant, the flames of war shall rekindle. All will be lost. A most dire end. That perhaps will remain in our hearts. Now, for something pretty interesting to mention, but not really show since I didn't successfully have any of these happen, but unlike last game where the endings for the characters are generic, they actually have endings. In fact, some of these endings can change depending on who lives or dies. For example, if Zeke dies, Kita will have an ending where instead of living happily with him, she'll instead cut off her hair in grief. Or Gray will fall into depression should Robin die. Stuff like that. It makes for the deaths that occur in your party to be meaningful, even if you can revive them. Hell, even Zeke gets his memories back. I wonder if we'll see him again. But that was Fire Emblem Gaiden, and it was a conflicting game to say the least. It is its own unique thing with unique gameplay like the magic system and the like, but it's kind of reverse of Fire Emblem 1 for me, honestly, where that game was boring to start and then I got excited towards the end. In this, I loved the first two chapters, then when we reached the desert maps and swamp, I just hated it. Honestly, this game, when Celica is introduced, gameplay-wise, does take a nosedive, since most of Celica's maps are either maps where you choke points forever, or they're gimmicky with sand maps or the fucking swamps. But in other gameplay aspects, I do love that they balance the weapons somewhat, making it so they don't break, but they do reduce stats for them not being completely broken. One thing I also love is the more casual speak in this game, where characters like, hey dude, or call their friends bro. At least that's probably just with this fan translation. It also makes for a rather different perspective, given most of your party aren't renowned knights or anything, just common people. Something I feel most of the series doesn't do, at least not for most of the cast. I would love to see more of this, but again, it is a really nice touch. Though, with that, my friends, I must draw this to a close. So join me next time as we return to Arcanea in Fire Emblem Mystery of the Emblem. Till next time, this is the Great Riek, signing out. Thank you and have a great night.